Live, gentlemen. All right, three, two,
Push it out.
one.
I'm still aging my peeps.
Welcome to the Saints Happy Hour podcast, featuring Dave Cariello, Andrew Juge, Ralph Malbrough, and when he decides to show up, Kevin Held. We are the perfect blend of Saints sincerity and stupidity.
Oh, interception! Matt Ryan! Oh mein Gott! Wie eine Puppe gibt ihn den Stiffarm und er fliegt auf den Boden. Hör doch mal auf.
And now, here's your host, Ralph Malbrough.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Sunday night edition of the Saints Happy Hour podcast. The draft is but 4 days away. It is the annual Saints Happy Hour draft preview extravaganza. I am kind of drunk. Me and my wife to support local business.
My wife.
Yeah, in Texas to support the local restaurant industry, said, hey, why don't you get a gallon of watermelon margaritas and we'll just drink that shit all day. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. So that's what we've been doing. I've been drinking watermelon margaritas, doing puzzles while it rains outside. It's been quite the Sunday.
Sounds delicious.
Well, first, go ahead, Dave.
We have a place here in New Orleans, a Mexican place called El Pavo Real, and they are also doing gallons of watermelon margaritas that I have yet to try, but I can only imagine how delicious they taste.
Yeah, today we got takeout from the only New Orleans restaurant in Charlottesville, Virginia. It is mediocre at best. Now they're po' boys. They do have po' boys, and they do get their bread from what is it, Langenheimer, or what's that called? That store?
Yeah, Leidenheimer.
Yeah. They get the French bread from there, so it tastes somewhat legit. I mean, it's definitely B minus C plus, but for getting it in Virginia, it was nice to do that. And we got beignets for dessert, which is weird because that's a breakfast item, but they do it for dessert, so we got that. But I have to say, just going back to the Open, listening to those German guys.
Yeah,
we invited them on the show, and they never responded on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, Kay Adams responds to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
She says she's going to come on, but these German guys, I don't know. I don't get it. They're too good for us.
Hey, Kay, if you're listening to the podcast to see if we are legitimate, we are legitimate. And by the way, if you come on, we will send you a care package like we did Seth Galina from PFF who came on. You get your own Saints Happy Hour t-shirt as a thank you for coming on. Why would you not? You know?
Now, Ralph,
yeah.
the big question is, do I chat on YouTube or do I chat on Discord with our fans right now?
That's the thing. I think we will do YouTube.
You guys, it's too much. It is too fucking much. As soon as I saw this Discord thing, I was like, this is brutal. And then I'm in there, and it's everything I thought it was going to be. It's just like people that have too much time on their hands, and it's like times 100 now because of the quarantine. Y'all are up at all hours a day. You got different rooms talking about different shit. Holy crap. Oh my God.
You're just jealous that you haven't been in the Hazlitt linebackers chat room enough.
Yeah, Andrew created that especially for me. And listen, if you're a patron, you get direct, easy access to our Discord server and all the chat rooms we have. Andrew created a Hazlitt linebacker chat room just for me where we discuss things like C. Grant's scouting report, Kobe Buckwalt's 40 time. I mean, why would you not want to do that for 4 hours a day during the week instead of working? I'm just saying.
He created that room just so that you would stop commenting and bringing up Hazlitt linebacker and distracting from the other current topics at hand.
Well, the other current topic at hand is the draft coming up on Thursday. And here's the thing. As we get closer to this draft, I've sort of blocked out all the negativity of the coronavirus and all the people talking about will they play, will they not. I blocked that shit all out. I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist. We're having a season like we do every football season. It's going to kick off the end of July. It's going to be fine. And I am super pumped for this draft now. So my question to you is, as we get ready for our final simulation before Thursday, what should be our theme tonight? Should we do it realistic, like the Saints are going to do it, like we think? Should we do it YOLO style, get weird like Ditka? It's the 20th anniversary of the Ditka trade, by the way, for Ricky Williams. We'll get into that later. Should we do it?
You already asked us this.
Yeah, but we did it
before the show started.
I know, but the viewers need to know what we're going to do.
Oh, so you want them to decide?
No, he just wants the listeners to get a sneak peek into how these big decisions get made for our podcasts.
Yeah.
This is like how the sausage gets made here, people.
Inside the podcast studio. That's what this is.
I think people right now, since we're 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, out, I think they want the actual realistic version. I think we've had enough fun. Now it's time to get to the nitty gritty and let's do the damn thing like the real thing, which means trading up into the top 10, baby. Yeah, let's do it.
Andrew, because I was just going to use this as an excuse to explain to people, the closer the Saints get to the draft, every year I get YOLO fever. And if you look at my preview columns for WWL, it's always the Saints need to trade up or draft Lamar Jackson or do some weird, wild shit. This year, I have 900 words on why they need to trade up to get Isaiah Simmons. Every year, I talk myself into living for the now. And I think combine that with quarantine fever, I want the Saints to go fucking big. I don't want Jordan Love at 24. I don't want Patrick Queen, although that would be funny. He's an LSU linebacker. I don't want that. I want trade up. Let's get nuts. That's what I want.
Yeah. Well, so the draft is Thursday. I'm excited. I think for our mock draft, we should go straight up. That's just me personally, but I'm kind of the boring one of the group. And yeah, on draft day, I'm sure we'll be doing live podcasts. I'm sure we'll be potentially taking live calls. I don't know if you're going to do one of the live shows, Ralph, where we can take calls or not.
Well, you know what it'll be, Andrew.
We'll definitely be in the Discord chat room too. So patrons, if you haven't yet, there's directions. All you got to do is download the Discord app. It's a chat room. And anytime there's big Saints stuff going on, we'll be in there. Definitely be in there this weekend for the draft starting Thursday. So come hang out with us in there, and we'll chat about the draft and what's going on in real time.
Well, if it goes anything like last year's draft, when the Saints trade up to number 8, I'll be out back helping my wife plant a flower bed. So. And instead of having everything set up and playing this, I won't be ready because I'm not a professional. That was really embarrassing last year.
Ralph, I think you need to mute your phone. I knew this FaceTime thing was gonna backfire.
Yeah, I know. It's always a bad idea. So
it's too much for Ralph to handle.
Yeah.
Well, I got.
He's got the banana meter. He's got.
I got banana meter. I got.
I think you got 6 now. I think.
OBS. I got.
What is OBS?
YouTube.
Discord.
I got Discord. I need a second and a third monitor. I need to be like a day trader on Wall Street. That's the setup. That's the setup I need. But here's the thing. Before we actually get into the mock draft and run it, I've got it locked and loaded on FanSpeak. As we go and before we hit the start button, I want to talk to Dave. I'll start with you, but I want Andrew, your opinion as well. What is the realistic scenario, since you guys have decided that it's realistic? What is the scenario where the Saints move up just a little, and what's the scenario where they go fucking big? Because listen, the Saints, they've traded up into in either the first or second round 4 straight years. So we know they're likely to do it. It's just how big. So Dave, I'll start with you. What's the scenario where they trade up just a little? And you don't have to give me players, but you can talk about positions and stuff.
Well, I've had my eye on. I don't think that he would fall that far, so I don't think that he would even be anywhere close to the 20s. But I mean, the Saints have had a lot of good luck with cornerbacks from Ohio State, so I would love to see them go get Jeff Okuda, or whatever. Is that how you say his last name? Okuda. I mean, he certainly fits the bill for what they're looking for
That would
on
be
defense.
fucking wild.
But yeah, but again, that would be probably a bit of a fall for him, and probably not very likely. So maybe that would fit into your other category, which is going YOLO.
I mean, that would be.
I want to keep the whole Ohio State secondary going. I mean, it's worked very well for us. I don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just do it. Let's just fucking roll the dice, baby.
Andrew, will they panic trade up if one of the linebackers? Well, obviously, Isaiah Simmons. We'll get to him in a second, but let's assume that he's gone. If another linebacker goes top 15, does that make them have to be like, oh shit, we have to get the last one left, and they'll move up, and you can just chef kiss the 3rd round pick goodbye?
I was wondering when that was going to make an appearance.
Yeah.
It's so much better seeing it in person.
It is. I don't know. I know that's like a ridiculous thing to say on the show because we pretend we know everything. But I just feel like this team doesn't need one position. Like, I don't think they need a linebacker so bad that they've got to go up and trade to get one. I mean, ideally, I want to walk away from this first round with a linebacker. But, there's really only 3. And one they're definitely not going to get unless they YOLO trade up. So... it's like at 24, if you get Queen or Murray, that's great, but are they really worth trading up for? Would I want either of those players at 18 or 19, if they have to move up to get those guys? And I tend to say no. I'm fine with the tackle. I'm fine with the receiver. I'm fine with a quarterback. So I don't know that they need a linebacker so bad that they need to trade up. Now, you look at Davenport, like I would say, yeah, like they were at a place where they needed edge so bad that it was worth giving up 2 firsts. I'm not sure Queen or Murray are worth giving up a first or second next year to go get.
Here's a question. Let's go over the worst case scenario, Dave and Andrew, and I want you both to answer. What's the worst case scenario where this draft is done and you're like, God, I fucking hate that move. Like what? Or would you
drafting up and grabbing a quarterback? Drafting up for a quarterback.
Andrew, would that be your worst case?
I mean, it would just stress me out, yeah. Because it'd be like, man, we gave up a lot, but then it's also like, how is Taysom Hill going to feel about this? How does that affect the locker room? It would stress me out. It would stress me out.
I don't think they'll move up for a quarterback.
That's also like not YOLO. That's planning for the future.
Yeah, that's.
To me, that would just be like if you're all in trying to win a Super Bowl this year, that's not the move you make.
Do we think the Saints? Do we think Sean Payton has fallen in love with love over Zoom? Do we think that is possible? I have a hard time believing, Dave, that Sean Payton could be like, that's the dude who's going to be the heir apparent to Drew Brees, and I haven't seen him work out in person. I haven't visited with him in person. All I did was watch video and talk to him on Zoom. Like, I just have a hard time believing Sean Payton is going to fall for a dude that way. Am I completely wrong?
No, I totally agree with you. We are on board together.
Hey, Ralph, real quick, I want to give a quick shout out in the chat room to Jonathan McWhorter. I probably pronounced that like Ralph would. But he just said, guys, thank you for what you do. I'm an ER nurse on the coast of Mississippi, and today I witnessed a 45-year-old man with COVID-19 go from talking to me to coding in a matter of minutes. He did not make it. So, it seems like it hits closer to home every day. And Jonathan, you're incredible for what you do. Thank you for all our first responders. But it's awesome that we have listeners that are on the front lines doing this.
Hey, Jonathan,
Hopefully we give them a quick break from the madness.
Jonathan, you DM me. I'm gonna send you out something special. We got to do something for the people that are, like Andrew says, on the front lines, and fighting this thing. You DM me. I'm gonna send you a little something. And by the way, not to my wife clearly is not is clearly not as big a hero as Jonathan. But let me just say, she finished up getting every one of those 106 either Taysom Hill Cups or new subscribers at the $7 level, the koozie and the magnet. She got the last 33 of those done. They are in my car. I will be going to the Pearland post office tomorrow, and the last batch of you people will be getting your cups and your shirts and everything you qualified for. So I just want to thank her and thank you guys all for the support. But back to the draft, Andrew and Dave.
Are you sure that it's pronounced Pearland and not Perland?
Pearland.
Every time you say it, it just sounds wrong. It sounds like it's supposed to be Perland.
And it's Ralph saying it. So
I know you. Are you just sure that you're pronouncing the name of the town that you live in correctly?
I'm like 80% sure.
That's my thought. See, that's 20%.
We should have. You know what, Andrew? When we had Morstead on, we should have asked him because he was a Pearland Oiler. So
that's true.
We should have asked him. But now that we've done worst case, Andrew, I want to start with you. What is your best case for the Saints? And I'll ask it in two parts. Best case, realistic. Best case, the dream scenario for Andrew.
Oh, dream scenario for Andrew is an LSU player. So I would prefer Justin Jefferson. That's my ideal. Well, actually, my ideal is Joe Burrow, but I'm assuming that's not happening. So I would say Justin Jefferson is my ideal. I'd be pumped for Patrick Queen. I'd be a little nervous with Patrick Queen that it would go the Al Woods route, So I don't want to get so excited for an LSU player that he bombs and then
Go Tigers.
Yeah, that. I'm so glad that you finally played that, by the way, on cue.
Yeah.
With decent timing.
That's what we said. We decided when we had Seth Galina on last week that I failed miserably, and that really every time LSU or an LSU player is mentioned, we need to
Go Tigers.
Play that.
Yes.
Obviously.
No, so best case scenario for me personally is an LSU player, Justin Jefferson's, who I would prefer. Best case for the Saints, I mean, I really don't care as long as it's a guy that helps them this year. So to me, again, going back to quarterback, Jordan Love, like, unless Breeze goes down, he's not helping them this year. And so it doesn't matter to me as long as they come out of this draft with two guys that either are starters or role players that are making plays every week.
I think it's highly unlikely that they draft anybody from LSU. That's just not how they roll. That never happens.
We'll clap.
I was about to qualify. At least not in the first, or early rounds.
Yeah. Devery Henderson before Peyton.
That was not Peyton.
But no, it's crazy. They have not drafted an LSU player
and there have been so many
guys in the first round ever.
And there were so many guys on the defensive side of the ball, back in 07, 08, 09 when they needed so much help on defense, and they just never even, it was like they never even bothered to look that way. I think there's more of a chance that they trade up and grab that cornerback from Ohio State than they draft an LSU guy. The other thing I would say about that is the wide receivers, Justin Jefferson and other wide receivers from LSU. I don't know. I'm just nervous. I feel like Joe Burrow made them look good. I feel like they benefited from having a Heisman quarterback and being in a good system and being on a great team. And I don't know.
Come on, man.
I don't know. Not sold on Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah, just not.
My dream scenario is it's not going to happen. But my dream scenario is they trade down just because I want to have Kevin on the I want to have Kevin on the breaking news live stream after they trade down, and I want to congratulate him like he had a baby or just got a job promotion or just got married again. Like, I want that for Kevin just to give him like a little bit of joy in his rough time.
He deserves it.
He deserves it, and I want to, but it's not happening. It's just, it's not gonna fucking happen. Like, they could have two quarterbacks there at 24, and the Saints ain't trading down. Like, it's just not gonna happen. My dream scenario, though, that's pretty realistic, is the Giants do something. They go offensive line at 4. Carolina goes receiver at 7. And Isaiah Simmons falls to 8 or 9. And the Saints give up the 2021 first and go get him. I just am like, let's fucking do this. Andrew, on the Zoom chat that we recorded that we couldn't use on YouTube because the video went black, you convinced me that Isaiah Simmons and Demario Davis side by side would be fucking amazing, and I want it. And that's my dream. That's my realistic.
You're
dream
making the biggest fan mistake, which is lock in on one player. You've taken a one-way trip to disappointment when you do that.
I'm quarantined in my house, Andrew. I have nothing to do but run mock draft simulations and read player profiles, man.
Yeah, I'm up to about 4 mock drafts a day at this point.
The thing is, with LSU players, Dave, if they don't do it this year, they're never fucking doing it. Like, LSU just won the national title, and they have literally Burrow, Queen,
Delpit,
Jefferson.
Yeah, it's not happening. Sorry, buddy.
Maybe Fulton and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They could potentially have 5 dudes go in the first round or go in the first 40 picks.
Right.
And if the Saints aren't going to draft any of those dudes, it's never fucking going to happen that they're going to pick a LSU guy in the first 2 rounds.
Nope, never happening.
Well, they only have 24 and 88 though.
Yeah. I think they should grab J.J. McCleskey. Out of Tulane.
Wouldn't be the first J.J. McCleskey.
No.
Yeah.
He cost Andrew a lot of money against Houston. And I remember Andrew calling me up the next morning in a rage. He's like, "What the fuck happened? Houston was up 3 scores." And I'm like, "Dude, it fell apart quick." This draft, though, I'm curious to. I'm trying to process how weird it's going to be because Goodell is going to be in his basement, which his basement is probably better than all of our houses. I get that. But how weird do you think it's going to be watching it, Dave, with everybody on quarantine and just it's all going to be Zoom screens and whatnot?
Well, wait, let's go back to, I know he's filming it in his basement, so let's talk about, like, what do we think the background is going to be? Like, is it going to be like bookshelves? Is it going to be like something, and draft particular where there's like helmets of all 32 teams? Is it going to be more like Andy Cohen where he's got, just random stuff that people have given him? What's behind Goodell as he's up there?
I think it's like a photo of Tagliabue, a photo of Roselle, and then like the clown nose of him the famous clown nose photo, just to let people know he has a sense of humor. No, he wouldn't have the clown nose photo, but I definitely think he's gonna have a Roselle photo and a Roselle photo and a Tagliabue photo behind him, and maybe like a Pat Tillman photo, or it's gonna be super serious and like emotional. There's gonna be nothing funny or fun in Roger Goodell's background when he's from his basement announcing these picks. I guarantee you that.
How much do you think Peyton is going to get fined for making the Goodell clown photo his virtual background on Zoom during the draft?
I think they would retroactively take away the pick as soon as he went on ESPN. Like if he goes on ESPN before they pick at 24, Schefter will break into Peyton's interview and announce that Goodell is taking away the pick for conduct detrimental to the league.
So like are Kuiper is Kuiper going to be in his house, and whoever, Dion or whoever the hell, no, Dion's NFL Network, huh? Like are all the mock
Todd
draft
McShay.
Yeah, are all these mock draft experts, so they're going to be in their respective homes too? Or are they still going to be in a main studio somewhere?
I mean, I haven't been watching ESPN Get Up. I know Mike Greenberg was still in studio for a while, but everybody else was gone. So I don't know if there's anybody else left that would also go in studio, even if they would be at the same studio but 6 feet apart. I don't know. I think they're all remote now. I'm pretty much. The interesting thing too is, Andrew, as the first round, they'll be pretty serious, and they'll try to make it as normal and as regular a draft as possible. But once we get into the third, fourth, fifth, and the later rounds, they're gonna be having some weird shit. Like they're gonna start having kids announce picks. They'll have people doing Zoom with their kids on their lap. Like how weird is it gonna get by the fourth round for this draft, as far as the media covering it?
I mean, if it's anything like ESPN's coverage of horse for the NBA,
Oh my God,
we are in for a disaster broadcast.
I have to say, the horse contest was below the Mendoza line for me, of how desperate are you to watch sports and how much do you miss sports in your life. And the horse contest, the answer was not that fucking much to watch guys play horse. And
I would rather watch bowling.
It's getting pretty desperate. You know what I noticed too, Dave? My drinking consumption is actually, even though I'm drinking tonight, I'm drinking the watermelon margarita, my drinking is actually down during the quarantine because I drink a ton during Astros baseball during the week, and I don't have Astros baseball to watch, and I'm not drinking as much. Are you drinking as much?
Yes, I am drinking. I'm drinking way more. Starts way earlier. Now I'm getting home at 3 usually from work at the latest, if not earlier, if there's not even that much to do, and when you're just sitting around and kids keep asking you the same questions 80 times.
Who interviewed
over.
for you? You were on Channel 4, right? They interviewed you.
I was on WWL. I was also on WDSU. Yeah.
Were you drunk for those?
No, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. Wait, so Ralph, that's the watermelon margarita that you're drinking right now?
Yeah.
That doesn't look like watermelon. It's white.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really taste. It tastes a little bit watermelony, but they gave us watermelon pieces, but we used all that before 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, you listeners should know that you can only hear us, but we can see each other.
We can see each other.
We decided to try FaceTiming during the podcast.
Ralph, you didn't even mention Chason.
No, I didn't mention. He's going to be a top 15 pick as well. He could be fun. He could be from LSU, and I could mispronounce his name, Andrew. He'd be the dream pick.
It's true.
I mean, he'd be edge though. That wouldn't make you upset, would it? Because you're you don't want him going defensive line, right?
No. Yeah. I'd make an exception for an LSU player though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like quarterback. I'd be devastated if they picked one unless it's Joe Burrow.
All right, so I'm going to fire up this fan speak mock draft. The question before I hit the let's draft for round 1. What is a player that we can all agree on that he needs to drop where we need to at least consider going fucking YOLO for?
Like where we trade up? you mean?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know. What about corner? Like, what about like C.J. Henderson? Like, Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins are great, but Janoris Jenkins is over 30. He's on a 1-year deal. Lattimore's in his walk year next year.
I mean, I would say, but do you want? I wouldn't burn. C.J. Henderson is tempting, but I don't necessarily, because if you want to move up to get him, like the 3rd round pick will move you about 6 spots.
I mean, like, how YOLO are we talking about? Are we talking about like Chase Young YOLO?
No, we're talking like a guy that's in like the 8 to 10
Talking
range.
something actually attainable.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I'm with. I like. Again, I said it earlier. I like cornerback. I like potentially the guy from Ohio State, or I don't know.
all right. Well, we'll say Simmons if he falls to 8, or if
I mean, like, who's the best wide receiver? Like Lamb? Who's the best?
Judy.
Wide
Lamb or Judy of Alabama, yeah.
yeah.
I guess if
Maybe something
okay.
like that.
So
I mean,
I'll look-
either of those guys would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's roll this. So let's see what we got.
Just pause it after the first 10 picks, Ralph, and tell us how the top 10 went.
All right. So the first 10, Isaiah Simmons went 9. So top 10: Burrow, Chase, Derek Brown went 3rd to Detroit. Wirfs went 4th. Tua went 5. Justin Herbert went to the Chargers. Wills went 7 to Carolina. The cornerback, Adoku, he went 8. Isaiah Simmons went
Okuda.
9. And Becton went 10. So Jerry Jeudy is still there
Ooh.
at 11.
And CD Lamb is still there, too.
Yeah.
So I like both of those. So I think until one of those guys gets selected, you let it keep going.
Okay. All right. So Jeudy just got so Jeudy just got selected. We're at pick 15, and CD Lamb is still there, and
Let's go get
Ruggs
him.
is there.
Offer the 2nd next year and the 1st this year to try to go get CD Lamb.
Okay. So who is picking at who picks at 50? Who picks at 12?
Wait, I thought you said it was 15.
No, I stopped it at 12. So let's see.
12 is the Vegas Raiders.
Oh. They need a wide receiver bad, but we'll see. So we'll offer them. What are we gonna offer? We're gonna offer them the 1st and the 3rd.
No. We're offering him the 1st this year and a 2nd next year.
Okay. All right. And they will send us. No, the Raiders, they pick at let's see. It says you said they pick at 3rd. They pick
They pick at 12.
Okay.
The 49ers pick at 13.
All right. Who picks 15?
Denver.
Denver. All right. So I'll do it because that's who's up. So, yeah, I mean, Denver. I think last year the Saints or the year they the Saints they accepted Andrew. So we are on the clock. So
All right, so we lost our 2nd next year and our 1st this year, right?
yes.
Oh, man. All right, take CD Lamb.
All right, so
God, this offense is there. We're gonna put up 40 points a game.
the Colts just offered us their second round pick number 2, their second round pick number 12, their fourth round pick number 16, and their fifth round pick number 14 for pick 15. Should
But then
take-
we don't have a first round pick, right?
No, but you get 2 second round picks.
Take it.
Wait, whoa. We're gonna pass on CD Lamb here?
We're gonna pass on CD Lamb, and we're gonna
How
go.
many picks are we getting?
You're getting the Colts. You're getting 2 second round picks from the Colts, a fourth and a fifth.
Woo. I like it.
All right.
Jason wants us to take the trade.
All right,
Yeah.
So we're taking the trade.
This would never happen. I'm just.
No.
So now
working
So,
on this.
so now we're not gonna get a first round player though.
yeah.
No.
That's not very YOLO.
No, it's not.
No, because we're gonna get tons of players, and one of them is gonna be, at least 2 of them are gonna be starter roster guys.
David, the Rook 10 says we can load up on receiver in the second round.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, now that we have like 15 second round picks, we better be taking Edwards-Helaire.
Man. So we're on the clock. So let's
We just
look.
passed on CD Lamb. I mean, I'm just sick right now.
So the best wide receiver left is Ayuk at 39.
Yeah.
The top 2 guys left are McKinney from Alabama, the safety, Esponza from Iowa, the defensive line, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean,
Ooh, I want to take Helaire.
I think you need to take Ayuk personally. I would vote Ayuk. So you're the deciding vote, Ralph.
I'm gonna take. I would say I'm gonna take Ayuk and roll the dice that Helaire is gonna be there.
How many more picks until we pick again?
We are up again, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is there. Baltimore is offering a second, third, and fourth. Seattle is offering a second, third, and 2/4 for the second round pick.
Trade.
No.
No.
Take Edwards-Helaire. Do it. If you don't do it now, we won't have another shot at him.
No. So we just took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I think legitimately this trade down that the Saints did. I think it's at least the one we did. There's a slim chance. There's no way the Saints are trading down multiple times, Andrew, because you've said it multiple times. This roster, the Saints don't need to draft 8 guys. They don't have 8 places, right? Their roster is the best in the league, so they don't need a bunch of bodies.
That's stinking thinking. You're saying that you're happy where they are, and there's no possible way that they can't improve. That's crazy.
Well, no, they
That's
can't
the
improve.
craziest
I'm
thing
just
I've ever
saying,
It's
like,
not that. It's just that like 5th and 6th round picks aren't going to make the team. Like they're not going to improve this team.
like
You
I
don't
don't
know who's gonna make the team. You have no idea.
I don't want like 3 third-round picks, Dave. It doesn't interest me with this Saints roster, or 3 fourth-round picks. Like, it doesn't interest me. Like, if they were 5 and 11, I'd be like, they fucking need bodies because they're fucking terrible. This team, they're 26 and 6 the last 2 years. They don't need. I'd rather get 2 dudes in the top 40 than like 6 dudes in the top 100. Like, I just.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
said, they did lose more guys in free agency this year than they have in years past. So they have been depleted by free agency.
Yeah, and they got them sweet comp picks coming next.
It's true.
You know, They'll pick in the 3rd round. And remember too, now that we did that trade, we did that one trade. We have two 4th-round picks. I almost feel like I cannot believe that on this simulation, Grant Delpit for LSU is still on this board. Andrew, we've seen some crazy shit. We thought Ramczyk.
That doesn't surprise me. He had a miserable year, man.
Yeah, but he was
was awful.
So, Dave,
it could happen.
So, what position do you think we want here? You know, we don't. They don't have a linebacker yet.
We got to go defense.
Malik Harrison is the best linebacker. He's Ohio State, Dave. He's not a corner, but we know the Saints do like Ohio State players.
Oh, take him. Take him. Yeah, let's take him.
All right, so we took Malik Harris. Do we,
Ralph, it's Malik Harrison, right?
do we need to trade up to, Grant Delpit, he just went, so never mind. So that's the end of round 3. So now we'll go to round 4. And we're only doing 5 rounds on this because after that, no one really cares about the 6th and 7th round. But in the 4th round, as you look at this, I'm going to read you off best available. Is there a position either of you feel that they need to fill? Is there a name guy that
did we get a wide receiver?
Yeah, Ayuk.
Ayuk.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Albert Okawanaboom from Missouri is still there. He'd be an all-time, Ralph will butcher his name multiple times.
Yeah.
Pick.
Worth it.
He's still there at 91. If we as we start the 4th round, we have picks 16 and 24 in this round. Do they need the quarterbacks are looking really.
What about Jake Fromm? Is he still there?
He's gone. He's gonzo. The interesting guy, Dallas is offering their 2 5th-round picks. Get the fuck out of here with that, Dallas. So they're on the clock. Best available is the safety from the XFL, Kenny Robinson. Tight end Hunter Bryant. They need a tight end, Andrew. Jared Cook is not
what
young.
Else?
Josh
what
Hill
else?
is not young. Let's see what's available. We just picked the linebacker. Do we go best available here? Do either of you have a preference?
Do we have a corner? Is there any corner in the mix?
There's no corner left in the top 20 available except for Dane Jackson from Pittsburgh. He's 145.
No.
Well, no, Lamar Jackson. I take it back from Nebraska. He's at 137. It'd be taking him about a half a round early, depending on how desperate you are at corner. I think this guy, I don't know how good he is, but this is an all-time name team. Stanley Thomas Oliver II. I feel like he was
that motherfucker's a butler.
He's a corner. He's ranked 264 though. But I mean, that's an all-time name. You can't even fit that name practically on the jersey, barely.
I think you go with the corner, Dane Jackson. I'm reading about him right now. He's 6 foot, 187, 4.57 speed. So he's a little on the slower side, but decent speed. And he gave up 42% completion rate last year. So I'm sure analytics nerds love him.
All right, so we'll go.
Yeah, take the corner.
All right, we'll go corner.
Where's Throckmorton? Is Throckmorton still alive? Or still around? Or what is it?
Yeah,
is that it?
Calvin Throckmorton.
Is he a guard or a tackle?
We can get it. We can get him in the 5th. He played tackle in college, but
he's
I think
Calvin Throckmorton. He's 221 on this board. He's still available. We're on the clock again in the 4th round. Best available, Hunter Bryant, the tight end from Washington, who's really not a tight end. He's really like a bulked up wide receiver. Julian Blackmon, the safety for Utah, he's interesting. You know, do we have to think quarterback? You know, I know they have Taysom, but do you need another dude to like? Because they gotta have a third one, Andrew. They haven't signed anybody yet, right?
What about Morgan from Florida International? Is he still out there?
He is.
I mean, I would take a quarterback. You know, he's kind of a mess, but he's got all the measurables. So maybe that's a guy that Sean Payton can fix.
That'd be like, let's see, they're on pick 130, so that'd be like 3 rounds early for that dude. But the Saints, they picked Rick Leonard, and people were like, "Who the fuck is that dude?" Like, so they have a tendency to go off script, and we have extra picks, so it's not like we can't be reckless. Are we all in favor of James Morgan? And we can make Captain Morgan jokes. I'm suddenly for this.
But don't we have picks next round that we can take him with?
We do. We do.
I think you wait if.
All right, so we'll wait. So do we go tight end? I mean, Throckmorton, Strongbridge. And here's another question.
Who's the best available again?
The best of it. Hunter Bryant is the best available.
Ugh. I'd rather get Thaddeus Moss late in the draft. Tight end. This draft sucks at tight end.
Steven Sullivan is still there, but Thaddeus Moss is gone. Thaddeus Moss is one of those dudes. He's all over the place in rankings. Like, some people hate him because
he could go in the 4th, or he could go in the 7th.
Yeah. I like Tamapio from Portland State, Charlie Tamapio. He would be great for me to mispronounce. So who are we going with? Let's wrap this up. What are we doing here?
Quarterback.
All right.
Do it.
All right, quarterback. It's done. So now we'll go into we're just doing 5 rounds in this. I don't know. People seem to, Andrew, sometimes I feel like it gets kind of boring, but if it's any indication of when we've done we did a mock draft where we ended up being the All Louisiana edition, where we picked a bunch of LSU and UL Lafayette players. People loved that shit and listened to the fuck out of it. So I think people quarantine in their house, like, they can't get enough of the mock draft, as my wife calls it, the nerd tool.
I'm still mad at you guys for trading down and passing on CeeDee Lamb.
So in this round, in the 5th, we have 2 5th-round picks, and then we wrap up. So I have to say, these guys that are here now, you don't know. Although my boy Kendall Vildor is still there, and I just want to be able to make. If they could draft him and he could be good, Dave, do you know how many Kindle jokes I could make for 4 years in my WWL column? Do you know how amazing that would be for me personally?
Give us a sample right now. Come on. What do you got?
I mean, I can't. I would say you could do like my Kindle. They need to reboot it. The amazing and that's just off the cuff. I mean, it never stops. So the top guy is a tight end. They got a running back. They got a safety. What are we looking to go here?
Safety wouldn't be too bad. We got Allaire, right? We don't need a running back.
What about is that guy from Notre Dame still out there? I really like him.
Who, the tight end?
He's a safety from Notre Dame.
Aloy Gilman?
Yeah, that's him.
All right. If you want him, you can take him.
I
You know,
I took him in my mock draft, which is posting on Monday on our website, and I think he's going to be a pretty good safety and an excellent special teams player. So
Parker Houston. That sounds. Giovanni Ricci. That could be another guy where we could start playing. We could start playing this. Would he qualify for the Super Mario Brothers music, Dave?
Yeah, I'd say. Nice Italian boy.
So we're on
you
the
could
clock.
take him. You could take him to Olive Garden, Dave.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds delicious.
So, we're
You
up
know,
against-
Dave, I would accept you fulfilling your bet by getting Olive Garden to go as takeout.
Yeah, I might do that. Maybe I'll do that this Friday. We usually do takeout on Fridays. And I'll have to see if I'm assuming they're open and taking orders. So that's a good idea. Although
Alright.
if there's anything worse than Olive Garden, it's Olive Garden that's been sitting in your car for 30 minutes on the drive home.
Make sure you get extra breadsticks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What if I eat up all my breadsticks and have my unlimited soup and salad? Then I can't get any more, can I?
You could be like, I want an extra bag of breadsticks, and I want a bottle of the Olive Garden dressing so I can drink that shit on the way home. Make it happen. Quarantine life, man. Dave, no one judges. No one will judge you. You could be at the stoplight just swigging on the Olive Garden salad dressing. No one will judge you unless they're a podcast listener, and then they'll know your hatred of Olive Garden is really a lie. All right, final pick of this draft. Best. What are we looking for? We got. You know who's still there, Andrew? Quintez Cephas, the wide receiver from Wisconsin. He's interesting.
What about Throckmorton?
Oh yeah, we gotta go. Throckmorton is still there, so I guess Throckmorton is the final pick.
Here we go. We got our backup offensive lineman. Boom.
If they pick an offensive lineman, I think Saints Twitter will lose their shit more than if they trade up for a quarterback. Just because I think people will look at offensive linemen and they'll be like, you just paid Andres Pete all this money, and you're going to draft the offensive lineman for a position he's not even going to play. He's not even have a spot in 2020. What are you doing? And I think that will be hysterical, and it wouldn't bother me that much, Andrew, but Saints Twitter would lose their fucking minds, I think.
It's true.
All right, so let's see. Let's tally up this draft, and then we can wrap this party up. All right, so they traded down, which of course with the Saints is just, you might as well believe that this podcast is going to have good audio, or I'm going to have two working arms tomorrow. I mean, it's just fucking fantasy on fantasy on fantasy. But we did it. So Brandon Ayuk at 34, Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 44, Malik Harrison, Dane Jackson, those are, and James Morgan, the quarterback from Florida International. Those are the top, your top 5 picks. If they did this draft, Andrew, how would you feel?
I would feel awful because they traded down. They didn't take CeeDee Lamb. I'd be revolted. I'd be disgusted. And I would think that they were picking CeeDee Lamb away from having the most explosive offense in Saints history. And instead, they passed to get a receiver that's not quite as good and Edwards-Helaire, which probably means they're trading Alvin Kamara. So I'd be depressed.
Dave?
Oh, I love it. It's a great draft. You're really building depth at a lot of positions.
I think I'm with Andrew, and I think my headline for this podcast to generate them clicks is going to be most depressing Saints draft ever. Now that I look at this draft, even having Clyde Edwards-Helaire doesn't excite me because, like Andrew said, it means that Kamara, they're either trading him or this is his last year and he's walking out the door. And I just feel like to move up and then move back, that wouldn't happen. But I think the possibility of CeeDee Lamb being there and the Saints not doing their normal YOLO and moving up to get him, and instead moving back would depress me a little. But I would just have a tinge of happiness for Kevin that this would be his scenario. Final point, and then we'll get out of here. We didn't even talk about the Ricky Williams, the 20th anniversary of the Ricky Williams trade. Maybe me and Andrew will do that on the daily podcast, which you should sign up for. $10. You get a podcast every day. Andrew's written grades and blog posts, and you get the Crew to Taste of Cup. Do it. It's amazing. But I completely lost my train of thought there, Andrew. Instead of continuing my thought, I plugged the podcast, and now I'm lost.
You were talking about the 20th anniversary of the Ricky Williams trade.
Oh yeah, the 20th anniversary of that. Do you think there is a possibility, since teams are going to be working remote, they haven't done all their research that they normally do? Do you think the odds of something fucking bonkers happening in this draft is possible, or more likely because of COVID-19 and everybody working remotely?
Well, I do think there's less accountability, potentially more decisions made in a vacuum where you don't have 15 people in a room that are shouting their opinions and saying, no, you can't do that, or no, you can't do this. I mean, we may see more of a GM just quickly calling one guy, quickly calling another. Hey, I'm doing this. Are you good with this? Are you good with this? So I would say maybe less cooks in the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think there might be crazier moves for that reason. But man, going back to Ricky Williams, I just remember that trade when it happened, and I was going nuts and I was pissed, and I wasn't even happy about Ricky Williams because I was just like, this is so stupid what they just gave up to get this guy. And the thing is, I remember thinking to myself, like, they would have taken less. The Saints didn't have to offer this much.
Dude.
Like, Ditka was so locked in on getting Ricky Williams, and he made everyone know it, that he was just like, this is the guy. He's going to win us a Super Bowl all on his own. And so he drove the price up himself. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I was furious. And so I remember, and honestly, like, people still talk about it. People still look back on that in the national media, and they talk about the Ricky Williams trade, and that's why no one else has been that stupid since then.
Well,
given up a bounty like that.
Well, I'll make the case of the three teams that were heavily involved in the Ricky Williams trade, Dave: Cincinnati, the Saints, and Washington. I can make the case 20 years later that the Saints were the least stupid of all three. Cincinnati, the Saints offered them the entire 99 draft, a first-round pick in 2000, and the first and third round picks in 2001. And Cincinnati said, nah, brah, we're good. We're taking Akili Smith. So that's horrifically bad. And Washington had all those picks, and all they ended up with was LeVar Arrington. Like, those picks are fucking trash. Like, so the Saints, as bad as Ditka was, like, I think Cincinnati and Washington look worse.
Yeah, the Saints won a Super Bowl after that trade before Washington did.
Yeah.
Unbelievably.
And Cincinnati, of course. Cincinnati's never won. And Ditka wore the dreadlocks during the press conference, which was just weird. But Dave, final thought from you, and then we'll get out of here. Are you as excited for this draft as me and Andrew have worked ourselves up to be?
I'm definitely excited to watch it. I mean, because we haven't had any sort of real live sporting action. So this is about as close as we're going to get for a good little while. So, I mean, I'm definitely excited to watch it, to have something to do at night where I don't know what the outcome is going to be. And but I mean, I'm not that excited for the Saints draft. No pick in the second round or whatever. very possible that they could trade up and possibly get rid of future picks or maybe even picks in this draft. But overall, final thoughts. I honestly, I would like to see them potentially trade down. I know that's boring. I'm sorry, guys, but otherwise, what do I think is going to happen? I honestly do think that they're going to probably trade up, a few spots. Nothing big, nothing crazy, but I could see them jumping up into the late teens or something like that.
Andrew?
Well, of course I'm excited about this draft because I'd be excited about it anyway. I geek out over this stuff, but the fact that I don't have to manufacture excitement about Michael Jordan's documentary, manufacture excitement about, some NFL game that's 10 years old or something that I'm going to rewatch. I actually am excited about this because I would naturally be that way. And I'm yearning for this. I'm more desperate for it than ever. So I am pumped for this draft. To echo what Dave just said, you can go ahead and just assume that either the first or second 2021 pick is gone. It's gone. They are going to trade it. They may trade even more than that. I think the Saints are going to be very active. I plan on making popcorn because I think Mickey and Sean are going to put on a show for us. And I'm expecting the Saints to make some noise and get some really good players.
I want the Saints to trade up, have the clown Goodell background for their Zoom for everyone. But
I'm working on that right now. I got one that I'm going to tweet to Sean Payton as soon as we're done here. I'm going to tweet it through the
tweet it to him.
podcast.
Say you're welcome. Come on the podcast. We'll throw you all softball questions, just like Andrew said, except we're going to ask you about Viking and Gate. Which, Andrew, that was the best tweet you've had, I think, all year. You had a perfect, nice, gentle ask of Sean Payton, and then you just blew it up with dynamite at the end. I loved it.
Well, I knew he was never going to come on, so I figured might as well make the tweet entertaining.
Yeah, he'll never come on, but I know for a fact that people in the building listen. I know it. I get little birdies tell me. The Saints are trading up, and they're going to trade up from Murray for the linebacker from Oklahoma. It's going to be not exciting at all. They're going to trade from 24 to 18. They'll give up the third, and then they'll trade back into the second round, or they'll trade their fourth and their 2021 second, and they'll trade back into the second round and get a receiver. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. So, thanks everybody for hanging out with us on a Sunday. The draft is but 4 days away. If you're a patron, stick in the Discord channel all week. We're going to be talking draft all week long. Sign up if you're not a patron because we are going to blow it out this week with a daily podcast every fucking day. We're going to go balls to the wall for this draft. Guys, we appreciate you in the live stream. Thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody else, see you this week. Until then, the bar is closed.